To bark for Makima or not? These are the hardest questions of our lifetime. Chainsaw Man Episode 2 was simply phenomenal, showing off members of public safety like Ovary Buster, but as well something more important. Something so much more sinister. Of course, we're talking about Makima being a manipulator. Either way, this episode of Chainsaw Man has a lot we need to break down and analyze, so let's get into it. This is Chainsaw Man, Arrival in Tokyo, and subscribe to never miss a Chainsaw Man video. And join the ever-growing fanbase as we are only 1,100 subscribers away from 60k. So, continuing from the previous episode, Makima seemingly treats Denji as royalty, at least compared to the way Denji has been treated previously. She lets him buy all the food he wants, even gives him the coat she's been wearing. So, like any person would, Denji falls in love with Makima on the spot, but somewhat regretting and resenting Makima for treating him like a dog. Suddenly, he's reminded of Pochita's death and stops in his tracks, but it isn't long that his daydreaming of better days is over. Nearly fainting, Makima asks Denji how he got his body, to which he explains to her Pochita. Turns out, Denji's condition is so rare, there is no name for it. And not only that, but Makima believes him as, well, for her, she's able to literally smell if he's been lying. Not sure if her nose is actually that good, but either way, Makima having the snout of a bloodhound is somewhat unexpected. So she tells Denji that Pochita is literally inside of him right now, as he is now a hybrid between both a human and a devil. Though, too tired to eat, Makima feeds Denji as she tells him he's such a good boy for eating his soggy udon. So Denji asks, what's her type in men? To which Makima answers with a little bit of thought. Someone like the boy named Denji, which Makima earns the reply from Denji. Wait, that's me. However, this leads us to Denji finally being brought to Public Safety HQ, a place that employs over 1,000 men and women, both human and otherwise, to fight demons. All the while, Denji can only think about getting close to Makima. Snapping out of it, he's introduced to his new teammate, Aki Hayakawa, aka Ovary Buster. And you better watch out, because this guy will absolutely steal your girlfriend. I know, he stole mine. However, Aki is 3 years Denji's senior, meaning he's much more used to working with public safety and straps Aki with Denji. This surprises Denji, who to the contrary thought he would be working with Makima, getting closer to her step by step, little by little. Well, sorry pal, some dreams may never come true, no matter how hard your boner dreams are. Though, there is hope. If Denji performs well, Makima does promise to work alongside Denji. Whether or not that's true or not, it's yet to be seen. Back to Dix though. Aki brings Denji after the meeting to an alley and beats him, telling Denji to get out, and that he's not fit to become a public safety employee because he has no strong convictions. So, in return, Denji knees Aki in the bollocks, the knackers, the pebbles, plums, bullets, nuggins, nutmegs, tackle, eggs, jewels, agates, berries, and of course the balls. Sadly for Aki though, Denji only aims for the baby maker, and then tells Aki that he's living a dream. Not only was he embraced by this beautiful girl with the sussiest swirly eyes this side of Uzumaki, but he got to eat breakfast. To Denji, he's living a dream. So he'll continue to fight for his dream, even giving his life for it because it's the best he's ever had, and that's worth fighting for. To be able to appreciate and respect where he came from and where he is now, and while it may be a small thing like breakfast and talking to flat butt Makima, that's small thing in her small butt. Well, goddammit, it's worth losing his life over to defend and keep a hold of. Though, for Aki, it seems he has a thing for Makima, suggesting that he's jealous to some extent as he gets back up to only fall right back down. So, Denji tells Makima it's the testicle devil that attacked Aki, somehow expecting Makima to believe such a flimsy excuse. Though, she seems to look past it and just asks, hey, will you two work together or not? though doing so in that Makima way by having it come off as an expectation where you kinda can't just say no to her. She clearly has Denji and Aki in the palm of her very sussy hands. Though it seems as of late, Aki has noticed a plethora of weirdos being accepted into the team, to which we learn that this is actually being done because Makima is running an experiment for a special squad. Though we don't really know what that means. My bet is that it hinges on Denji though, as he is the most special person in the squad, at least thus far, clearly. Even when Makima tells Aki that Denji can transform into a devil, he is somewhat incredulous, stating that that's such a rare thing to see. Though, since Denji is special, he requires a special way of being handled as well. If Denji is to ever disobey any orders, he is to be put down and killed on the spot. Now, it's pretty clear why Makima gave Denji that choice. She didn't exactly do it because she somehow saw something in Denji. She saved his life because his life was useful to her and her new squad. So, my theory is this. Makima is using Denji for her own gain. So, she's manipulating him and pretty much anyone who works under her to do her bidding to some degree. Let's just see how the story and their characters progress though, to see if they realize this fact and whether they come to accept it, defy it, or change it, or all of those. But one thing is for certain, as far as my gut feelings are, no way Makima ever gets with either Aki or Denji in the way that we or they would ideally want it to go. Makima has way too much sus in that trunk and not much else.
So, Denji then basically starts to live with Aki since Denji is Aki's, I guess, handler, so to speak. And Denji, he's enjoying the good life. He's eating some bread with all kinds of stuff on it, stuff I would not put on bread, but he does anyways. I think there's even like butter on top of like strawberry jam and some other forms of jam. Like, it's actually insane. Somebody should actually try to make this. Find out the ingredients for it, make the bread, eat it, and then report back. No, it's not gonna be me. I ain't doing that. That looks nasty. But, if it gets, video gets enough views and likes, maybe, we'll see. Subscribe or ring the bell, I suppose. But they go to a residence after this. They gotta take down a fiend, and apparently, if you're not sure what a fiend is, they explain it here, which is really helpful. A fiend is someone who, well, it's not a someone, it's a devil that has taken over a human's body, so to speak. And we see a fiend here that has been, taken over by a devil, and it has like, I don't know what you would call it, but it has pincers, I guess, for a mouth. It's eating a bird, and so Denji basically just walks over, chops its head off with an axe. But it's interesting because this leads to a confrontation between Denji and Aki. Denji sort of feels sympathy for it, but Aki is like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, devils are evil and they do not deserve sympathy at all. So it seems like they're definitely butting heads in that regard, and Denji makes note like, well, I've already crossed the finish line in regards to my dream. It seems like Aki is still chasing after his to some regard. And then Denji makes a really interesting comment, like, there's this feeling of hollowness inside of me, like I still need to achieve something. And he's like, maybe I haven't found that dream yet, right? And then he makes a revelation. He goes, oh, I remember, boobs. Yeah, that's my goal. That's my dream, breasticles. So he says boobs in front of Makima, and Makima's like, boobs? Either way, Denji and Aki, Denji, you're being paired up with a new buddy. And it turns out his new buddy is none other than my personal favorite, Power. She's a fiend, much like in the same way the last bird pincer demon thing we saw at Fiend. So yeah, it's really funny because she comes in, she's really full of herself, and Denji's like, who the hell are you? Your name's Power? And then takes a look at her chest and is like, oh, boobs. Okay, that's fine. Denji, this is a severe one-track mind kind of guy. As he says later in the episode when they go on patrol together, Denji and Power, he can handle crazy from women as long as they're hot. So, I mean, I guess that's good for him because he's got power to deal with, which seems like one of the most annoying, cumbersome people to deal with, and it makes sense. She's a freaking fiend. She's not a person. She's a totally different species of thing. I don't even know what you would want to call that. Either way, it's power. She's weird. The best of days, and they go on a patrol together, and they come across the sea cucumber devil, which Power immediately smells. She's like, oh, blood somewhere, the wild hunt awaits. And so she goes, chases after, follows the scent, drops down from a building with a blood mallet. So that's cool. I guess there's like blood wielding in this anime. That's awesome. And then smashes the sea cucumber devil, and then screams out that, you know, she's conquered the sea cucumber devil, and she starts she's crazy. Power, without a doubt, is crazy, but honestly, gotta say, overall, this episode, Power is a really big part of this, and I really enjoyed the introduction for her character. It really shows off how insane this woman is, or I guess this fiend, we should say, but I guess she is also a woman, which is going to be interesting. I wonder how they're going to tackle the partnership between Power and Denji. Wonder if there's going to be a romance between those two. If they're doing a red herring with Makima and Denji, that could be possible. Like I said, I you know what? Actually, let's go ahead and actually talk about the rest of this episode because I got a lot to say. But a small reminder, subscribe and ring the bell. This episode is colloquially known as a setup episode, an episode in which mechanics, storylines, and characters are set up or introduced. In that sense, this was important because now we know what public safety is, how it works, generally speaking, and the person Denji will be working under, Aki. Now, despite him shattering ovaries into bits, this guy feels like he's above Denji, but in a similar position, relating more than they both let on. This is not by mistake, and clearly this was written to show something more is going on with the dynamics between Makima and the people who work under her. As I stated before, I am of two minds about Makima. On one hand, she clearly saved Denji and treated him really well, generally speaking, buying him food and giving him the coat off her back. Clever writing, by the way. Though, let's be real, she's a manipulator, as she tells Denji, literally, he's her pet and only allows the answers yes and bark. And while I'm sure many people will be willing to lap at the bowl of Makima milk, that was a weird way to put that, we must as viewers keep an eye on this. It's clear Makima is using Denji and thinks of him as a dog, not a person like herself. She even states that dogs who don't do as they're told get euthanized, and I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but that implies if Denji doesn't do what he's told, she will kill him, as confirmed later in the episode. He's got it better than he did before, so he simply returns, saying bark, showing his obedience to Makima in the end, which honestly, I do think is ultimately the right choice, though we're reminded Makima is a manipulator when Denji asks her type of man, to which Makima literally states, it's Denji. Bro, that's a lot of red flags for one girl, so to be honest, I think this episode of Chainsaw Man was very good, very well laid out, and presented in a fantastic manner. Mappa did an amazing job, and the narrative of the episode was generally just perfect for what it was. Though, what did you think about Chainsaw Man Episode 2? Drop a comment, get subscribed, and if you want to support my content further, become a patron, where you'll get access to new One Piece content 3 weeks early before anyone else. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.